First of all, I would like to say good morning and Tashi to all of you. And today's Dharma session will be continuing with yesterday's 8 ornaments on the profound meaning, and we're a little bit of talking more about the view that we already started yesterday. So in order to become your meditation pure and perfect, in order to become your meditation successful, first what you need to do or what you need to know is to know the view properly. What is the view? And then the first thing is to establish the view. So in order to establish the view, we have many assertions, many explanations in the treatises, such as Madhyamika tradition, the middle way treatises, and also when we talk about external objects, then which means we are finding the emptiness of external objects. So in that case, there are many explanations in the treatises, such as the Madhyamika and other perfection of wisdom sutras and so forth.
Milarepa soror
So according to Milarepa, as we talked about this yesterday, about cutting imputations or interpolations from within, so that means we're not finding external objects, in order to find the emptiness of external objects, phenomena, but rather we are trying to focus within, focus on our mind. And because an external object, as we discussed yesterday, is limitless, it's immeasurable. So if you understand the true nature of your mind, then all the external phenomena, you can understand the emptiness of all the external phenomena at the same time. Therefore, it is said that you have to cut the misconceptions or imputations from within. The root of all phenomenal existence is our mind. And for example, if we think about happiness, we all want happiness. And happiness in this life and happiness in afterlife, in future lives as well. If you want to search for happiness, you can search happiness for the desirable objects outside, the 5 desirable objects like forms, and sounds, smell, and so forth. But that's just a condition. That's a causes or conditions that you can have the happiness. You can obtain or gain the happiness for temporarily. But the main happiness comes from your mind. So the root of happiness is mind. So therefore, all the external things and desirable objects are conditions that can serve to have happiness, but not the root of the happiness.
다 대화당 동할세야 되다. 소화지라다. 소화 대화 소화 동하스. 때 열 엠보라. 근데 대화도 동하세야 상거든 용거거든. 되는데 이마인데 단 하나 되는 그 대지제가 레바자바 이마이나요. 다 쓰기지 열게다 소소근 균지 내가래 범절의 균지 당 강과 당다 되니 그래서 무슨 소화의 요거 그래. 얘네야 아니 때 코나가 나온 속에 로때 예치 때 코나가 때문에 저세 샤고 많이 봐. 이 전뒤 그 생각 되지 제 토고와 이마이나요. 이 선나 소모당 이 선대 이제 이몽고 왕도 맞죠 봐. 이제 선대 대체 선 고마 시와당 이 선대와당 선도도 이 선거되는 되지 토토가지고 그래.
So when we are talking about happiness, it's not only happiness, suffering as well. Happiness and suffering both are feelings. For example, we have feelings of happiness, pleasure, feeling of pain, feeling of indifference or neutrality. So we have different types of feelings. Sometimes it's bliss, happiness, sometimes it's unhappy, sometimes it's sadness. All these feelings are also coming from our mind. From outside, the object of outside where the objects all are not non-living, they're not sentient, insentient things, from where you cannot get the ultimate happiness. And ultimate happiness can be obtained by training your mind, by transforming your mind into negative, into positive. Through that way, you will gain ultimate happiness within. And then for the external materialistic things, for example, they are necessary for us because we are striving for them, we work for them. All the house, financial, all the wealth, and all these are necessary for our life, but those are not the ultimate sources of happiness. So ultimate sources of happiness comes from within, comes from our mind.
산지 그 주몽보 손예바가 나네 손바 탐게 그저 돈로 소 듬드 쇼가 제근 그 손요레스.
All the Buddha's teachings that he taught, we can subsume all of them into, condensed all of them into one verse, one stanza.
그때다 더과제야 맞아시 교황 부좀 소과제 랑그 산의 용수도 드는 산제 때마에 손요레. 근데 주적세다 누가 제연스도 망소 지다 누가 먹여와 강 도도 빠야 근데 막 개와 강 도도 적 딱디나네 딱 기치슈도 지 산제 비추어서야 돼 선들어와 타임이 있는데 랑드 산데 이제 아니 몽도 자시가 공포 이제 되게 그 산데서 아니 손돌 근돌와서 밖에 랍자 되게 취시 근데 그런 산의 용서도 이런 산지 때문에 산지 그 때문에는라 산지 그 주가 답자스나 산지 그 주지 님보대 아니 선들과 답이 된 소원도.
So the stanza or the shloka, the verse is not engaging in non-virtuous actions or unwholesome actions. And the second line would be, this means, the first line which means you have to abandon all the negativities, all the negative emotions and thoughts, or negative actions as well. And the second line says you have to engage in all the wholesome deeds, positive deeds, which means you have to accumulate merit. You have to accumulate merit. For accumulating merit, you have to engage in positive deeds. And the third line is the most important one, which means to tame your mind, to subdue your mind. So that's what Buddha said. You have to tame your mind first. And after that, that is the teaching of the Buddha. That is the teaching, ultimate teaching of the Buddha. Or you can say that is the essence of the teachings of the Buddha.
따와 인지 랑그 선다 뚜 선의 짐바 따와 초라는 제전 노천라고 안에 가지 뜸마와 송로도 다 따와 인바 시대다 내로 그 따와 내내 또 아니 제 따와 되는 거구나 소소게 요르마다 소소 선다 보고 선초 소수 선다 초다 보고 근데 소수 선데 파야 근데 따와지 인의 잡대가 이마이나 근데 따와지 특별히 말이 시행인데 아다 공제도 가려 본 거예요. 선 공고요. 대 공물세요. 따와 또 언제 아니 선 근내로도 또 보고요. 대인데 아니 제 따와 세야 되는 한번 선 sor다 보고요. 이 선을 sor다와 되는 아니 따와라고 그래요. 그때 맹아래 사대 제목 맹아 이제 좀 말아래요. 그 공부 투세 아니 gamboba tabor moje de tinima an somase tawa yimba ni ke ram sana tu tawa sana sosu sana chortawa de tawa na pereyes.
So when we think about will, will is not something that we have to look outside of our mind. We have to look within. We have to look inside, within our own mind. That is what Milarepa taught to Jigambopa, and that is the ultimate view of Mahamudra as well. And because view itself is the finding or searching, looking for the true nature of our mind. That is the view here in this context. So we have to find the view, the ultimate true nature of our mind from within. If we find the view, the ultimate view, the true nature of mind outside, then you will not get anything. You will not gain anything. So therefore, that's what we call the very essence, pit instruction of the Mahamudra, which is to find the ultimate nature of your mind. And when you look inside, within, then you have to look at the mind, right? So when you look at the mind, then you have to know what is mind. So you have to understand first the meaning of mind.
근데 동이 흔럽도 못 해봐. 흔럽을 한럽도 못 해봐. 손도 들리면 사제 진행도 못 해나. 근데 다 서로 그 요가 나와대 딱한게 마음속은 나와나지. 근데 demba trouble 티 나와대 소지 선 출발할 때 있는 소마. 선 그때나다 마음속에 근데 박혀 야 마음나지 선 박혀 세나 야 하는 거 나지. 마도 근데 나서 열라 나왔다더니 이거 demba trouble 요 말이 있을 때 아무 나왔은 정도 돼봐. 선들이 숨바대.
And then when we talk about the mind itself, then what is mind? So we can refer this to the great Milarepa Lozawa, the teacher of Milarepa. When he introduced, he gave the instruction to Milarepa about the pit instructions of Mahamudra. He instructed to Milarepa by saying that all the appearances are introduced, or all the appearances are being presented as your own mind, and your own mind is presented or explained as emptiness. And then emptiness in turn is explained as spontaneously present within you. And then spontaneously present within you is in turn explained as self-establishment, self-accomplishment. This is how Milarepa Lodzawa gave the instruction to Milarepa. So that means the first thing is appearance as our mind, which means all the appearances are that we see. We think that all the appearances that we see looks like truly exist there. But all the appearances does not exist, truly exist, not inherently exist, not intrinsically exist. So that's how all the appearances are as our mind. So that's the first one. All the appearances that appear is because of our habitual patterns, our mental tendencies, right? Mind's mental imprints that we have in the past. And then from that way, from the power of the habitual pattern, we see different types of appearances. But all appearances can be subsumed into our mind. So the first thing we must understand is all the appearances are as coming from our mind. All the appearances are aspect or manifestation of our mind. All the experiences are display of our mind, in other words. So therefore, even if we cling or we like to see pleasant moment, we like to see beautiful form, we like to see like a sweet and a pleasant sound. All these are because of attachment. All these are out of anger and hatred. So because of the confusion. So that means all these are some external appearances, but those are just aspect or display of our mind. Then the next question would be, so what is mind? Then it comes to the mind as emptiness. And mind itself is emptiness. In other words, mind itself does not truly exist. So mind itself is emptiness or luminosity. So this is what we need to understand, that mind itself is emptiness. That's the next instruction that Milarepa also gave to Milarepa. And then mind is emptiness, and the next one is emptiness is spontaneously present. So here emptiness or empty means it doesn't mean that there's nothing. It means emptiness itself has a sense of luminous appearance, clarity, and clear light in it. So here Tongpanyi, or the shunyata, or the emptiness, as spontaneously present, and that is the essence of mind. Now, the second one is the nature of mind. The nature of the mind is luminosity, a clear light, and therefore we talk about the union of clarity and emptiness, union of empty and union of this luminosity, which is what we call the together, inseparable from emptiness and the luminosity of the mind. So now, if when you turn towards you, turn to within yourself, and when you look at the mind, how do you look at the mind? So it's not like something like when you look at the object outside. It's not like that. So there is no any dualistic appearance or dualistic grasping of, looking at the mind from the subjectively and looking objectively. It's nothing like, there's no any dualistic grasping there. So the means and method of how to look at the mind is, according to the Tilopa, the great Mahasiddha Tilopa, gave these teachings on Mahamudra at the shore of the river Ganges, which is called the Ganges of Mahamudra, in which it is said that you have to look or investigate the mind through resting your mind in its own innate nature, without correcting, without alteration, without you have to set or rest your mind in this uncontrived state of your mind. Through that way, you will be free, you will be liberated, and there is no doubt to be liberated. So this is one of the most profound instructions of Mahamudra teachings, because when you rest your mind in its innate nature or innate state without any alteration, and then usually the true nature of our mind is being bound or being fastened by various thoughts and various delusions, defilements, and various dualistic appearances, and also self-grasping and so forth. Once you untie this bondage of all the delusions and defilements, then you will be able to place or set your mind naturally, without having any effortlessly. You can just place your mind on that very true nature of the state. At that time, there is no doubt that you will be free from all these defilements and all these negative thoughts and all these dualistic appearances and so forth. So that is the most profound teaching on instructions.
다 딘디 똑벌 세발한테는 남주인 나조지다 소사 드바장 네, 다 소수 라마다 되네 지바기 라마 다 되네 제주 말라레바 아니면 타보를 못 된다고 그때네 되네 지바 라마다서 그다 예 매바 아세면 되네 대단한 소다 무비지 되네 다다시바나지 되네 나오서기 산라와다 루네 되네 산데 되네 산마주바 라와다 자나 되네 산데네로 도도그리 시타타와다 데이마레.
So therefore, how to realize this very state of mind? So this one, we can first engage in the accumulation of merit, accumulation of the two collections, the accumulation of merit and wisdom, and through that way you have to build or you have to develop fervent devotion and faith in the gurus, the lineage masters, lineage gurus, and then through that way you can look at the mind and you can try to look at the mind without any alteration and correction, and then finally you will be able to understand or realize the true nature of mind. That is how we call how to look at the mind.
마음번남도 써먹었다. 다다 시바께 찍나. 대라다 제주당 가도 가양 마지는 리산 코랑기 라와 같다나 아니 나 루네. 근데 그 마연 바텐이 되지 않고 그래서 그때는 나와서 또 가면 찍는 일이지. 근데 이제 검진형도 잡. 되면서 다 들어간 거 따와 힘마세.
So now we will. You have got an idea or notion of how to look at the mind, right? So which is the most profound instruction teachings. So we will spend a couple of minutes to look at your mind and meditate. So at that time you have to do not follow the thoughts and incidents that have happened before in the past, and do not invite any plans or any other things that you want to do in the future, but you have to focus on this very present moment, without alteration, without negating, without adopting. You have to be calm and innately rest your mind in the true nature of true state of your mind, and through that way we can be relaxed and calm. So let's do for a couple of minutes of meditation.
다든지 저는 알아서 지금 선 어떠자 된 선선 땅도 된 선이 사람 지원해 봐. 된 선만 받아라. 어떻게 선을 내로 그리지. 어떠는 로도 남의 주제도 다 된다고 지금 주고 그래.
So this is how we have to cut through the imputations from within by looking at yourself, your mind, which is luminosity, and which is unborn, uncontrived, just like the space.
네, 다 나중에 된다고 그다 뭐 똑바로 용해라. 네, 라마 건조서나 다 대바다 뭐 쏘았다. 네, 심지에서 다 삼바다 닝지 상조 그 삼고. 네, 되게 가게 공 적진지 되바 임바이나. 네, 마음속 즉 똑바로 주의를 찌타고.
And when you practice this continuously and gradually, cultivation of compassion and generation of the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, and then you practice this continuously, and gradually you will be able to understand. You will be able to realize this true nature of mind, and you will be able to cut the misconceptions from within.
그때들하면서 오늘 덤을 눌렀잖아. 또가 선 차렸는데 그때하면서 지금 덤을 잡고 되는 건 따와 그때는 윤윤 지시 되면서 지 제가는 이봐 안에 공부하게 같대는 뭐 그러게 인식되지.
So this one we will complete the first ornament, which is view, to having starting from yesterday, having this external bodily auspiciousness, and then we say that the realization arises from within, and then the auspiciousness comes or arises from outside.
남도 휴거 탐발라 람종 그 공부 맞아다 냠냠도 배워식 인데 치레스.
So next, second ornament is meditation. So it says concepts dissolve into Dharmakaya, the truth body. Is that not called self-arisen meditation? Connecting it with the experience is a great ornament to that.
따와 세디는지 다 생전내로 아니 선을 줘도 되는 생전내로 똑바로 따와 세디는 소문이에요. 다때 아니 따와 세디 다때 내로도 똑바로 찬에 되는 시해요. 다때 마 냠스는 공배 냠스는 많이 소문. 따와 주 담제 내로 또 되는 파라. 다 공문데 다 소소도 직전바다 시진 되는 다 다른 나라 소리지. 니 용바 또 용바 이는 밥샤고기 따와 다때 되는 데라 못되는 아니 다마 공부가 돼야지 근데 공부에 냠스는 많이 숨어들.
So the view we talked about is view of the entire phenomena, or the view of the ultimate reality or ultimate truth, which is the true nature of our mind, and the view of the entire phenomena. So that is something, the view, which is the establishment of the view itself, is how to understand the true nature of mind. And then meditation means you have to apply that view in the practice. So how to practice is the meditation. So in this context, you have to use the mindfulness, you have to use the mental alertness or introspection in order to go further, in order to do this practice of meditation.
그네 다 따와시인도 semgo 뭐 쳐봤잖아요. semgo 쳐봤자. semgo면 시방자. 다때 시방자지 고쳐요 말이. 때 똑같 죄도 제와자지 고쳐요 말이. 다른 나라서 빵자 뇽몽바데다 단계 빵. 쳐봐가 똑같데다 단계 마세. 근데 뭐 이제 근데 과자가 되어봤어서 장거고 그래. 근데 똑같이 다 상황도 연대되다 담이 공도야 벌거예요. 다때 파워세발라 다 상모 추용받대 다마 연정 거. 대 균종을 세가 대다 검신했던 데 소문이 되지.
So once you understand the nature of or essence of the mind, that's just a mere understanding of the nature of the mind, which is will. But now what you have to do is you have to go further to eliminate. There are many objects of elimination, objects of abandonment, and there are many delusions and confusions to be exhausted. And also there are many obscurations from our previous and past habitual patterns. So those obscurations should be purified. Through this process, you have to have this sustaining, maintaining that kind of view. That is what we call meditation. You have to be familiarized with that continuation. That continuation or sustaining or maintaining that stream is called meditation.
양 검시도 많아서 이제 락검 대간다고 당 양은 이제 여러 지는 못 봤대 대간다고 되는 말이에요. 그러니까 딱 그러니까 검시도 그 선정호 내도 되라 때는 되라 많이 봐. 되는 전시되는 되는 마준 좀 돼요. 다 됐잖아. 되는 검다 그래. 많이 봐. 되는 선정내도 되라. 냐바지야. 다 되그 주마 좀 근데 양도 이제 대단한 양바지야 되고 어떻게 검 소리를
So gom or meditation or gom here in this context is not that you're meditating on a specific deity or visualizing a specific deity or something like that. It's not like that in this context, or you're focusing on a specific objects. In this context, it's not like that. In this context, the meditation means you are focusing on the very true nature of your mind, the essence of your mind, and then you just look at that true nature of the mind without any alteration, without any distraction. That is what we call in this context is meditation.
그런데다 라마고 맞출까지 손을 요새나 내로 곰바 마인 곰바인 손으로 내로 때도 곰 문제점이요. 얘는 아니지 내로 생긴 내로 나나 마인 반야마지야. 내가 곰리 때냐 때도 곰라비들이
So the great masters of the past, they have affirmed or they said that there is nothing to meditate. It's the nature of the mind is not something that you meditate on it. So we have two terms here. The first one is gom, and the second one is kom. So the first one is there's no meditation to meditate on the true nature of mind, but you can familiarize. You can sustain, maintain the continuation. Then you will become familiarized with it, get used to it. That is how the meditation is explained by the great masters of the past.
그런데 남도 추가 탐발라 람종 그거 말면서람 시리 다양 검시인데 다다지 따왕 못 되버되는 냐버지 아무로 봐. 다 얘는 양다 많은 소리지 에 전제 검바인바 있는 양 남도 망고 제용을 근데 남진 즉 차당도 또바당 근데 근데다 좀제니는 그 또바당 출근 남도 망고 지는 소리 용들이 그 란신이 그 생기 란신이 나면서 남도 단다 차당다 남도 단다 뭐지 제용을 나눠서 다다 줘봐세요 말이 줘봐방 가요 말이 근데 그 남도 망고 제용을 되지 즉 여러 남도 제거리 나게만 남도 제거리 차당 제거리 삼지보 송을이 삼도보 송을이 되게 제다 남도 망고 제용을 해.
So here it says the concepts or the discursive thoughts dissolving into the truth body or dharmakaya, and so which here it means that when you meditate or when you try to familiarize with your true nature of your mind, then you will experience many other obstacles or interruptions, such as you maybe attachment, anger, and hatred, and so forth will arise in your mind, and there are many because our illusions or confusions have not been exhausted so far. We still have all these defilements and confusions within. So therefore, it could be the thoughts and the defilements or the discursive thoughts could be positive or it could be negative, but it will arise naturally. So there is no need to worry about that. It will arise automatically. But we need to focus, what you need to focus on is the very true nature of the mind.
라발 안에 등산도 되는 나도지 다 심지 뭐뭐용이야 생명적 단는 쇼드라마다 발레가 그냥 semma 시험 대반라고 당 이래는 되니까 참선은 지선 크게 되는 조명용이라고 사실 생기 강한 뭔지 용이요래.
Especially nowadays, we have many various problems that are facing to all of us, such as depression, stress, and sometimes feeling of loneliness and so forth. So we have all these various problems, like psychological problems, for example, depression, stress, and so forth, right? Isn't it? At the same time, we also have various attachment and hatred. All these afflictive emotions and thoughts also arise in us. And also we also experience many positive feelings of feeling of benefiting others, feeling of compassion and so forth. Those positive feelings also arise within us. So whatever the positive or negative, whatever the thoughts or feelings that arise in you, all these thoughts and feelings should be dissolved into Dharmakaya or the truth body.
남도 가리 제용마이마이나야 뒤남도 지선장 되네 남도 되라 멤버제 다 정지제를 되네 차당강 되네 뒤레사 뒤 박차죠 되네 선나 지보다 동har당 되네 모두 뭐뭐지 용대요.
Usually what we do is when some kind of thoughts arises in us, then we try to follow their thoughts and try to cling or grasp or fixate on that particular thought, and then we just follow that thoughts. Through that we also accumulate karma, the action, and through accumulating negative karma, then you will have negative result as well.
지스만라 남도 지스만라 남도를 렘만만세 근데 똑바까지 되게요나 되게 모을었다 근데 뒤 똑바들 제주 가르마제 라살 뜻인지 자고 이마이나 다 똑바상에 가래도 이마이나야 다 남도 대 근데 추걸 탐지난다 다 남도 그런 게뭐 통문이 다 남도 그뭐 동반이지 선전해도 우리들이 그 취직거리 대대다 남도 졸스나 남도 추거를 졸스나 진지고 그랬지 진지 토바이 마이나 랑종 그 보면 메자람 시나 다 된다고 보고 그랬지 랑진다 차당다 남도 가리 제용가 있나냐 내가 용모었다 내 랑진다 내가 마주봐 아 라와트 녀버지 토바이 마이나 남도 코랑의 돈으로 그랬지. 남도 그 페노메 봐차. 남도 추거도 차. 남도 뚜머니도 차. 어쩐지 그랬지. 내가 졸아다. 내가 남성거 보면 마사람 쓰는 뜻이었나.
So when you experience or various types of thoughts arise in your mind, It could be positive or it could be negative as well. At that time, do not follow that thoughts or do not grasp on that thought as a truly existent one. And you just focus on that, the very essence of the thought, very nature of the thought. And then just like you focus on the very nature of our mind as it is, if you focus on the very essence of the thoughts, then those thoughts will disappear in their own place. And that means the thoughts will dissolve in the Dharmakaya, which means Dharmakaya here means emptiness. The thoughts will, all the thoughts are the display of the emptiness. So once you do not correct it, do not alter it, if you just focus on the very nature of the thought, then it will naturally disappear or dissolve in its own place. So therefore it is, Milarepa said that, is that not called self-arisen meditation? At that point, you can have that self-arisen meditation that can happen. We have a word from the many texts, which is liberating all the afflictive emotions or kleshas into the deep awareness or wisdom, which means if you focus on the nature of the thoughts and without following it, without changing it, you just focus on the thoughts as it is, then you will see, what you will see is you will see the true nature of that thought, which is the emptiness and which is Dharmakaya. And therefore we say that sometimes the 5 genus or the 5 Buddha families, they have their own 5 wisdoms, deep wisdoms. So through that way, the 5 different wisdoms, these afflictive emotions and thoughts will dissolve into the wisdom. Therefore, it is called liberating the afflictive emotions into wisdom. And then it says is the self-arisen meditation, then connecting it with the experience, which is a great ornament to that. So experience here means we all have these various thoughts, discursive thoughts in everyday, day-to-day life. But whether you are meditator or not, if you meditate or not, if you cannot meditate or not, the thing is what we call usually taking the thoughts, discursive thoughts on the path. That means if you are mastered or you mastered of meditation, for example, you do meditation for long time and you have the experience, then you can do these thoughts, taking the thoughts or applying the thoughts on the path to enlightenment. So therefore the discursive thoughts, we have to look at the discursive thoughts as nature, and then we have to continue the meditation in order to experience it. So therefore its experience is connected here in this ornament. So once you experience it, then we can control ourselves, not to go under the influence of other negative emotions like attachment and hatred and so forth. Through that way, this ornament is connecting with experience, which is what we call the great ornament. So sometimes we experience unhappiness and sadness. At that point, if that kind of incident or situation happened to you, then do not think about it again and again. Do not follow that particular situation, the particular experience that you had before, because you have to think about how to take the negative thing or the evil or some unpleasant situation, horrendous situation that you happened. You have to think about that in order to take that on the path. Do not cling on that and do not generate any kind of hatred towards that situation or that thing that happened to you, because that will increase your negative emotions and afflictive emotions. So as a meditator or a Dharma practitioner, you should always, whatever situation you have faced, you should always calm down, and you have to set your mind on the true nature of the mind, calm down, quiet your mind, and then you have to make supplications to your gurus and teachers with faith and devotion. And through that way, you can take those negative affective emotions along the path to enlightenment. So that means that becomes your company. So no need to eliminate this forcefully, but rather you're just familiarizing with that specific emotions, and then you can take that on the path to enlightenment. That is what we call the bad conditions, unfavorable conditions or circumstances become your friend. So you can do that too in the same way.
Tene lamda cher hiwa ima ina, tene nyumongdang namdo jazang mawa ima ina, ane ishi yang dezang de chewa yin so ne tene song yore. Te kanib song yore se, tan namdo je ma je wan ro ina loma ting rao tene we la no do, tene we la no yore. Ta je chadang tan namdo ra wa de je yang lamsang de mo shi yin de, tene ta de je tene ke gong ki menga la ting ina, tene 남도 가세제 요마이나야 디 남도 그 장대 난지 이때 조시 소마이마이나 남도 장마와 난지 남도 산나야 용들들네 조라도 먹고들래 뭐도 봐 유몽도 소에 되는데 유몽도 쇼침보다 먹고 가세제 요마이마이나 대모시 대뭐 람데 챘네 유몽도 같은데 이시를 줘 남도도 추거를 줘 근데 참 생근냥이는 되게 잘도 그래있어. 어떻게 남주는서 비침물이 있었나 이제 좀 말해봐. 근데 라운종 그 공부세들이 그때 냠용도 니마들이 근데 남주 소속 남도도 니모 가세지 뭐 있나요? 내가 공 그냥 내서 전에 남서 챘는 냠스는 거가 돼있어. 그때 공 그니까 된지
And so understanding, recognizing the thoughts that arises in us, then you have to take that on the path. So here, taking that on the path, which means you have lots of discursive thoughts in your mind. And then if you have that much, the greater the thoughts in your mind, the more the wisdom that you will be able to dissolve that thoughts and emotions in that wisdom. So therefore it's called the greater the wisdom is. So for example, if you have kind of unhappiness or you have in the sadness, in the situation of sadness, then at that very sadness or worry can become your meditation. And at the same time, once the thoughts arise in your mind, at that very moment you have to try to release, try to liberate that that thoughts into Dharmakaya or the truth body. That is how we train our mind as well, in terms of talking about mind training. And that is also what Milarepa is talking about, the self-arisen meditation. And then through that way, all the thoughts will dissolve in the Dharmakaya, and all the afflictive emotions like hatred, anger, hatred, and so forth will dissolve into the wisdom, or the jnana, or the deep wisdom.
다 줘봐 그지니 다들 어느 초록 란살 따고라 로념제 줘봐 맞아라 두두던 데와시 진체 숨을.
The next one is the conduct, purifying the six collections in their own state. Is that not called the conduct of equal taste? Connecting it with the proper time is a great ornament to that.
다들 줘봐 그다음에 다 초록 데다 담지 아니 다 로념 도고 그래있어. Then I thought that Ronyum could give us another, but you got the energy, the job of the Ronyum, what do say, and I'll tell you, Mema, you got it. What that day ended, so looked at a lunch, there are certain days.
And then these six collections of consciousness, also we have to take this on the path. And we talk about, when we talk about the equal taste here, same taste or equal taste, which means in the Kajupa tradition we have this called the equal taste, the six cycles of equal taste, as well as the teachings, the profound teachings in the Kajupa tradition. So the six collections of consciousness can be also need to be take on the path.
다 초조스의 담모대 모시고도 되는데 다 초조스의 나서 그매 요지매 시바 여러 되는 요조가 다 하이래. 근데 조때는 남주인 나서 다 좀지바래 있는데 좀 문지바래 있어. 근데 좀 지바래 차. 양게 얘도 몽고 조때서 담하지. 근데 대나지 자라야 되는데 다 나서 여러 가라 되네 님바다 미니바 왔다 대래 양 짐바쇼 네 되네 양 차단 로제야 되네 나디요 나도 시바기요 아니 저 되네 제게요 로 되네 조기요 르자 다지테네 르자 jamboda zuboseya tshembada mjembaseya ne ro ta shemjen seya ro ta ne yegu yo le chu tam de ro ta de na ye dong yo ma le chen de ye de ma yo ma le si cha dang lo je yo de de nam je na zo le cha ta ro nyam yo ma ro ta zo ji ba de cha be yo de ta ne de de cha de ne mge le sa ta 그래서 같이 이제 좀 집어 드니도 단다라 장시 양케야 먹고 있어. 근데 내가 나지 이제 드라이닝 받아서 드니도 그때는 집어 친구쇼. 단 집어 친구쇼 sab이 근데 차단되는 일이 제대로다. 나서 뭐지 다 코나 그 요구라고 이제 그랬다. 소록에서 롬념 맞다 봤어요. 얘도 엄마다 마용과 지문지 셴미셴 다 르산 잠문잔 지문지 세야다 된지리도 되는 남편 나랑서 대로 마냥 봐 때네 근데 제가 뭐를 때 사가 때는 사가 요리 맞세다 때도 돈을 요구를 요구해요 맞세바 된지 그 차단도 나는 지금 강한 뭐고 지 소록에서 라사르다 다마도 소록에서 로뇽 마도 근데 대다 차단당 다 차단 모습을 완전히는 어다 된지 나서 유몽당 먹게벌레 대체 너자 맞아 봐기 다 챈다 다모 유몽 차단의 유몽지 지금 먹게벌레에서 들을 제가 서마다 딱 내려가서 봐지 다 된지 챈다 서마가 동안 먹고지 된지 소로 열 zuga 저러고서 취가서 봐라 소속이 15조에서 대례인, 대례차, 대례시 다 되는 때는 아니 다 챈다가 서마 통화세 밖에 안 했지 동아당 아니 내 몸이 싸도 요리스 남편이 되는 거죠.
So when we talk about the six collections, here it means the six collections of consciousness. The first one would be the eye consciousness, for example. The object of eye consciousness would be the form. So in terms of the form, and the external form, we look at the external form as beautiful and as ugly. So if it is beautiful and pleasant, then we attach on it, we cling, we have that kind of grasping. And then the form is kind of unpleasant or ugly, and we don't like it. We have that kind of feeling of hatred in our mind. And at the same time, also the next one, for example, next one is ear consciousness. So for example, ear consciousness, the object of ear is the sound. So it's the same thing. If there's a pleasant sound, a good voice, so then you like it, right? And then also you have some kind of a very fixation or grasping on that particular sound. And if somebody has a very bad voice, then you don't like it. So that kind of discrimination, or you're trying to discriminating the object, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant. And for this nose consciousness as well, we have object of nose is smell, right? So you like the good smell, you don't like the bad smells. You just segregate, or you divide these two, bad and good, or here too. And also we have tongue consciousness. The object of tongue consciousness is the taste. So if something's delicious, then you like it, and then maybe you maybe grasp on it, clinging on that particular good and delicious food, or for example. And then if something's not delicious, then you don't like it. So that's how is the on the basis of the tongue consciousness and the object of the tongue consciousness. And then we have specifically the touch or tangible objects. So for the touch and tangible objects, we also have that kind of feeling of that you like the very gentle and soft, touch. You don't like very harsh and rude type of touch. So that's the tangible thing. And then you have the mental consciousness, which is all the phenomena that we think, we see. Something is good, then you like it. Something is not good, you hate it. So all this anger, hatred, and attachment comes through that way. Many of the people nowadays also do the same thing because of the external objects. For example, some people like the bodily or physical appearances, the beautiful physical appearances. And even for the sake of that, many people suicide too nowadays. So that happens because of they don't know how to make the six collections of consciousness equal. So if you know how to make that six collections equal, then you will not face such situations. So that is how we, because of not understanding or because not being able to make the six collections in equal, then we all have this suffering in this world as well as in the next world. So the important point here is to, as it is said, that connecting, purifying the six collections in their own state. So that means purifying, or six collections have to be made in equal taste. For example, if somebody praises you to talk about some good things about you or your qualities, then it's good that you should appreciate that person. But in other words, in a negative sense, maybe if somebody praises you, then maybe you become a little bit of, you elevate it, you generate some kind of pride within you, a little bit of feeling of arrogance. So that's the one thing. So because you don't have that kind of balance, the equal taste there. And if somebody says something rude words, using harsh words towards you, then maybe there's no need to retaliate, but also you get angry. But this is not because you are not in the equal, you are not in the balance to what the other person is saying and what you are thinking, what you know. And so whether it is a pleasant one or unpleasant one, the most important thing is not to cling in that particular object or particular words or whatever the other person says. Therefore, it is said that these all are because of not having that equal taste or balanced in terms of the emotions, and also Narupa taught Dilopa about this instruction, saying that you are not being bound by appearances, but you are being bound by clinging. So you have to cut the clinging. So if you want to cut the clinging, even if you see a bad one or a good one, then you have no clinging. So you have that kind of balance in order to go further.
대인들 대단하면서 남바 지난해 어느 산업도지 들어가서 그 노용 빵만을 싫어 지다 하정도 노용 롱주닝 말이 가서 그 쥐가 된 것은 싫어요 무슨라 얘는 아니 지금 노용도서 람도 쳤다 봐 근데 노용도서 그 뒤에는 이제 유몽 맞죠 노용도서 람도 쳤다 봐 노용도서 아니 지금 양능도 조스 쳤다 봐 지금 되는송도 then 지금 노용 마방 진도 저봐 체와스는 어떤 뭐뭐야 돼
So in Buddhist tradition, and especially Vajrayana tradition, we have all these various, extensive desirable objects that we need in order to practice in our day-to-day life. So, but what we should think is we have to take all these desirable objects on the path. That's the one main point here, because once you understand how to take that on your path, then you will know that all these are something friend or some company. All this accompanies you, or those are the company that you can take along the path to enlightenment.
산지에다 노용하자 차 최소는 노용비님을 쓰는 몸부송도 배나다 진짜 조가 하자 차 제와 이마이나 다다가 만 세마lep스는 말면은 좀 로긴 볼도 네 다때 말면 그 조가 하자 차 안돼 그래서 지금 말면 그는 좀다 쓰더라고요 근데 양 로로 하자 차 제와 이마이나 냐모 짝주신 것다 하시는 단 내용 그배 잡아 그배 시노 냐도서 다 냐와도 그 천안으로 그래서 다지 에 짝주 건걸 생각하고 때서 딱 천안으로 요셔도 냐모도서 하장 그 좋아서 자체인데 딱 짝주라 하는 산 다소 냐와도 좀로이더라 된 내용 하자 자체 와서 이마이나 내용 님은 뭔고 열이 있지 근데 배당 동몽고 지 상제는 도그는 마성들
And Buddha has taught many examples and meanings in terms of this having attachment and clinging towards desirable objects. For example, desirable objects, in a sense, 5 desirable objects, like form, smell, and so forth. So, for example, to give an example of the form, if you attach too much to the form, then the example would be like a butterfly. Dying or jumping into the lamp. Like lamp is here, lamp means a bottle lamp, not the electrical one nowadays. It's a bottle lamp. There is a fire, but he's too much attached on the form of the fire, and he just go into that lamp, and then he dies. That's because if you too much attach or cling towards the desirable objects, then that will happen. And for example, another example would be the taste. For example, taste. For example, the iron hook that we catch fishes, right, in the ocean, and then on that top of the iron hook, you have a little bit of food for the fish in order to hook that, right, in order to catch. So because of the taste of that food, the fish will attach on that, so that the fisherman can catch the fish. So this is something that if you attach or cling too much the taste of the objects, then you will also have the danger of that.
네, 다들은 서로 라서 가봐라 송데 당하면서 그 유진 말 나와 나지 류예더라 남시 소조 요 조라저로저자 아니 취라서 근데 아래 이제 그때니 제가 이마이는 yor zugra zhuwa zhuza la sopa la long jio ba de zhe na, ta rabi na sa jia jing mo yi gen yang ling ge den ni song ju, ta de do yong de so, sen de so, yu jing ge xi ba de so, do yong ge wang de ma xiao ge se na. De ne ta yu jing ge xi ba de da, yor long ge jio ba ge zhe na, ane de ge rang sar zhuwa se na, ta de ne lo korang zugra zhuwa zhuza de da tan je, 열로 넘게 받아서 유몽다 차단 부분도 말이요 봐. 대단히 하는 게 선들매로 그때는 좋고 그래. 아? 대단한데 달리지 열때서 아니 차단 부분도 막 성과 열 예도 공원 모은다 zam보다 nen고때서 막 전용 비교 받는 남들 채하고 그랬어. 대단 양이 선들매로 아니 동반이고 나는 좋고 그래. 대 남들 채시 있고 그래. 선들인데 단 남들 교양 나와서 ndo sanyal ke chona kare te gi mai na ni so so san mo la ta o che te san de ani che te ni yor ko wang de ma cho ge se nyam ni ge ta ni so so ge ta ta mo ta wa mo che chu yo ra ba te go ma ke nyam sa lang ni yo ra ba ta te nam ji chona ga na te ni yang de se ta go ge se te chona na ni lang de che ta go ge so ti so mo ge se.
So now the view, and then after that, understanding the view, we have to apply that view, and then you have to engage in the meditation. And through that way, you have to also take that view and meditation on the conduct. So here, conduct, which means the conduct of the equal taste. So so purifying the six collections in their own state, which here it means the six collections, for example, eye and nose and so forth. And then object, the desirable objects are those of the form, smell, and so forth. And then this is talking about in terms of the subject and object. For example, once subjectively all those six consciousness, and then object would be all the desirable objects. All the desirable objects here means you have to have the balance and make the equal taste of the six collections in order to not to fall under the influence of the desirable objects, so that you can control that you are not going under the power of desirable objects. Therefore, it is said that the six collections in their own state, they have to be dissolved in their own state, and that through that way you can understand the meaning of the true nature, and then that all the thoughts can be dissolved into the Dharmakaya, and then all this consciousness can be also dissolved into the emptiness, liberated into the emptiness. So this is what it is talking about in this context. And then the fourth one is the arising of the experience of bliss emptiness. Is that not the point of the whispered lineage instructions? Connecting it with the four empowerments is a great ornament to that. So here the oral transmission or the lineage, or the whispered lineage instructions means that at the very beginning it says the bliss emptiness. So the bliss emptiness is in terms of your own mind. From the subjectively is bliss and emptiness. And objectively it would be appearance of emptiness. Bliss and emptiness and appearance emptiness, once you understand that, then also there is another one which is the sound, which is also the sound itself and the emptiness. So once you understand these three main points here, So then we will understand how to take that on the path, like the appearance and emptiness. For example, when you see something through your eyes, like a form, then you will understand that you're seeing right now, the appearance, that is what you appear, that does not exist in reality. So that is the understanding of how you relate with the appearance and emptiness.
And also now the yoto jobagata dra. Kare ye na dra tamje ani teyang demba chubamega ani je dra teda tamje tasom do ani nyamsne go gres tindi lam de cherbo gres.
And the sound and emptiness, which here means that all the sound that you hear, all those sounds do not exist truly. So through that we will understand the sound and emptiness.
Then that sami bayina yanti that namdo gewa tamna gewa which it tamal gis then namdo ka wanda ma shavsen then san namdo kare je jewa bayina yang and san de dong ta ka to ba ju je go ris ta san koran de rajin de dong hanji ji bi shi cha de yori o de de
And in terms of the mind itself, we should understand the mind's nature, so which is what we call the bliss emptiness, and this is also the innate, co-emergent innate bliss and emptiness is what we call the very nature of our mind. So when your mind goes under the power of discursive thoughts, then at that point you can focus and you can tackle it with the understanding of the great bliss and emptiness, which is the innate wisdom.
엄마가 왕자로 지마이나다 나동 근데다 왕이반 대동 사동 르동시나 다들이 왕는 마음을 제해요 왔다디 이렇게 왕기 모टे 샤바기 냐니 예자네 근데 다들 인주가 당마 다들 공시가 나지 조간데 나동 자탐제 자동 sen toba sama ani ta dedong ji tiniki ta sen genelo ani ti nyenju de dama ta tini nyam to ne go gre so.
So next one, connecting it with the four abhishekas or four empowerments is a great ornament to that. So the four empowerments are, for example, we talked about yesterday of the four empowerments. To give an example of the West empowerment, Pongwang. So West empowerment, we can also talk in terms of understanding, in terms of the different stages, levels of the same thing as in terms of mind. We have bliss and emptiness. In terms of the object, we have appearance and emptiness. In terms of our own mind, we have the clarity and emptiness, and also we have the awareness and emptiness as well. So the abhishekas or the empowerments are also according to that empowerment, different types of empowerments, and this whispered lineage transmission is also according to that. We should also understand in terms of this in terms of the four empowerments.
동리제 산낭세바라 사람들은 밤낮에는 남도던 저와지 진의
The next is differentiating clear appearance and emptiness. Is that not called the stages of the path? Connecting it with the path signs or signs of path is a great ornament to that.
순두가리 숨을 유시는 당한서 남바가 나니까 사람sin 이제 숨을 열어서 사주 남아시는 이 숨을 열어.
So in this context, it's talking about the 5 paths and 10 bhumis or levels.
자대 안에 나눠서 지금 양민기 럼바제는 되는 또가 그 럼바제는 되는 사단람 신들이 남양조 후열이스.
So these levels, bhumis or the paths are being delineated in terms of the levels and stages of the realization.
그는 람마 세인도다 당부 나눠서去了당부修근데 이제 되게去了투상세 다 되게 그나가가 또 solemn 신들이 시해요.
For example, when we talk about the 5 paths, the first path is the path of preparation. The path of preparation here means you are the beginner. When you first enter into the practice of Dharma, then at that time we talk about the path of preparation.
他去了包江山，俺那推上山下我的娘子人也对，俺那就他生的那路东北你的时候，给他等这个错的那包括有的这样包括搞个，俺那journal是那就是说。
And then the next one is the path of application. So path of application here means the first one. So the first one is path of accumulation, and the second one is path of preparation or application. And that time when you engage in the practice, and then, for example, you are practicing emptiness, and then you will get an idea of notion of what is emptiness, which means you are getting a generic meaning of emptiness. At that point, that kind of realization, at that time, you're on the path of application, the second path. And then third one is the path of seeing. So seeing here means to realize, to understand. At that time, you will understand you actually understand the meaning of emptiness in actuality, not in the generic meaning, but you're actually seeing the path. I mean, you're actually seeing the emptiness, sorry. So you're actually seeing the emptiness. At that time, you're on the path of seeing. The next level or stage is the path of meditation, the fourth one. So once you understand the true nature of mind, and then gradually you will eliminate, dispel all the object of abandonment. The object of abandonment in terms of obscurations, including habitual patterns. All of these object of abandonment are being exhausted. At that time, on that level is called the path of meditation. And then the fifth one is the path of normal learnings, which means, and finally, you have eliminated all the obscurations, including its tiniest, or including its subtlest habitual patterns and the subtle obscurations. All of those are exhausted, and then you will you realize the great wisdom. So at that point, it is called path of normal learning, and that is the state of the Buddhahood. And then the 10 bhumis would be, briefly, if we talk about the 10 bhumis, it starts from understanding the realization of the emptiness. And then after realizing emptiness, you continuously practice emptiness. You have to take it into practice, put it into practice. And then the realization will increase. The realization develops. And then after that, that kind of a stages of development, you are leveling up all the grounds, all the bhumis levels from 1 to 10. So then the first bhumi would be like the perfect joy, and then up until the 10th bhumi. That's the way in which we explain in the Mahayana Sutras. So these 10 bhumis are taught in terms of how to abandon all the object of abandonment and how to understand all the realizations. These are the only objects of practice for Aryas. Arya means the noble beings, higher practitioners. This is taught in the Mahayana Sutras. And usually when we practice and when we go from the path of accumulation, and when we go from the first bhumi to the 10th, this is a kind of a very gradual stages that it takes long time to complete it. For example, the path of accumulation is the ordinary being or ordinary person who at the very first he start to engage in the practice, who start to enter into the Dharma. At that time he is called the person who is on the path of accumulation. So the next one is the path of preparation or application. That means at that time, once you have entered into the practice of Dharma, and then you have heard these teachings, you have listened to the teachings, and once you listen to the teaching and you now put it into practice, at that time it is called the path of application. And then after the third path, where an ordinary being attains the level of Arya state or level of noble being. So in that state is the level or that bhumi or ground is called the path of seeing, because at that time he or she sees the emptiness in reality. And after that, one attains the enlightenment, which is the Buddhahood, the path of normal learning. Because of that very experience and the realization he or she has attained, that develops and that kind of develops, and that turns into this attains the complete Buddhahood or complete enlightenment. So this is how the level or the stages of the path to enlightenment. First, you are an ordinary being, ordinary person. You enter into the Dharma practice, and then you become a Chupa. And then after that Chupa, you become you have to traverse the path, and then you will become an Arya, the noble beings. And after that, after noble being, then you will improve your realization and experience. Then finally you will attain what we call the enlightenment or the Buddhahood.
다 제주 밀라레바로 제는 그새 제가 되네 담보 못도 보지 되네 추리쇼 되네 추바차 되네 또바주르제 주바토 되네 그새 제가 상자송아래.
For example, Jejun Milarepa himself as an ordinary being at first, and then he, entered into Dharma, and then after that he put exertion, he put effort in the practice, and finally he attained enlightenment in one body and one life.
다들 너는 동리제 산능 세발라 생데 다 샘데네로 사모동바니 똑바 그rem바 보다 되게 차라더네 사다랑지 숨으리 얘는 사람들이 뒤지는데 다 사람과 연계되다 담비 요거들이 남다른 데와 진트체.
So here it is said that the differentiating clear appearance and emptiness. So is that not called the stages of the path? That we just talked about the 5 paths and the 10 bhumis. So those are the stages of the path to enlightenment. And connecting with these, with the path or the signs of the path, once you have traveled or traversed on the path of a path to enlightenment, then you should also have all the qualities that you need to acquire, because that is how it is the signs of path, which here means that is the great ornament to that.
그러나 다다 마음속으로 오지 마이는 인디지 법법 강사 당 산지의 사람과 연대 다다 제마다 봐 이마이네요. 다 마음속으로 출了법장세 출了修출了ஞான세 이 주어터고 봐. 이 대인데 다 마음속으로 대해서 여러서 레고 그래서 람다던 데와 진의 제성도 다 연계로 그래서 대인데다 투다 시시 도와 시시 도와서 출 법장세 잡이 선바이나 대해서 시시 도와 마그 줘봐 이마이나야 말다 말하고 장으로 근데 곰다도 니몽에 봐서 이제 곰잡은데 난래장 이제 니몽대다 탐지 총을 줘 선바 지주로 미장으로 줘봐 대다 야를 줘 다들 대해서 로고도 다들 마다 다 나서 막 취 마요고 갑다 취 법장세 취면에서 교수 뭐뭐 제가는 시가양 해마 나지 선바양 해마 나지 줘봐양 해마 나지 자송아 이마이나 근데 람다던 데가 지금도 체제는 돼요 뭐도 이제 추바라다 로지스나 로레레는 저와 얘기했던 다동 하고 있어 말이다 추바 타마 추바라다는 샤마레레를 되는 저와 때문에 동 하고 있어 추마 타고 는 다지 하고 있어 근데 이제 다 나오서 이제 추시화다 마저번이는 그거 그거 마저국가가 거기 스마트인데 이제 껴봤는데 여기서 아까 남벌이죠 나중 연민에서 나도 배 몇세 번 들어와야 나도 배 야대로 했어요 나 이미 그때는 진짜 통해요 나랑 이마이나 나 큐르죠 맨날 내자 스마트 보자 성과야 보자 삼성 보자 근데 지금 미 가래나 성노 동토바 가래나 까말 때서 아니 이제 동이 타바 미스마 잠보 쥐바 잠보 무슨 저와게 레고도 레고 그리스 산 람다던 저와 진지체 손대다 가제 되는데 알아 다 오늘의 사람 조소마이나 사저 람나도 다데 되다 담이 좋은 그리스 앞에 가서 자체 모레 얘는 나한테 소소를 더 써먹다는데 다다다 공시가 나지 그때 사겠지 메달라 도와 쳐다라 람바스는 가서 봐봐 제시해 그래서 가서 저와가 그래서 같이 추적돼 봐 다나오지 동거 그래 어때서 뭐도
So here when we look at the connecting with the path sign, the sign of path. So sign or means some kind of marks some kind of sign that you should have. But as an ordinary practitioner, we don't have that sign like the noble beings and the Buddhas. So, but what we can do is we can go from stages to stages of the path, from starting from the very beginning to the end, right? But also whenever you do practice, you can learn Dharma, you can study Dharma, you can practice meditate Dharma. And then you have to understand that you have to change something, you have to transform something. Otherwise it would be pointless. So you have to change. So changing is what here, in terms of ordinary being, it's talking about the sign. So that's the sign. It's no sign for us as a level of the 10 bhumi or part of sin or part of normal learning, but it's a sign of that you have changed your behavior, you have changed way of thinking, you have changed your practice in a better way. So that is called, usually we used to say that the sign of a scholar or a learned one is calm and stable and firm. And the sign of a meditator is free from afflictive emotions and thoughts. So through understanding these, you can transform yourself, transform your mind into negative, into positive. So the best practitioner, Dharma practitioner, they examine themselves every day, how much they improved. But the worst one, or the maybe final Dharma practitioner, they also do the examination or investigating themselves, but only once a year. So that's how we usually say. But if you don't change or you don't improve, you're the same as before, then that means it's something waste of time or pointless. So this, in terms of signs of the path here, we can also think in that way too.
지가 니가 수마비나 야 로고도 나서 나주 냠이야 들리지 사람도 똑같다 해가 나진타 그래서 추저가 그 뭐여 다 똑같아 산제도 그때 말이 받아 사람도 똑같아서 나서 야 깨는 양저가 나진 감각을 감수만 나진 그 양 로고도 그게 랍대요.
I usually tell my Dharma friends, my old Dharma friends, about how to practice Dharma or how to study Dharma, or learn Dharma. So you should practice as well. You should practice and study Dharma, but never do not stay or always stay in one class, the grade one, always in the grade one. But you have to level up. You have to go further on the level, grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4, and so forth. Otherwise, that is, even if you don't have that kind of sign of the path and bhumis, but we have to climb the stairs, right, from first step to the end. So So I used to tell, do not stay only one place or one class or one grade every time. You have to improve. Yeah, not all you have to climb up from the first step to the end. And also it's something like you have to complete your all studies, starting from the grade 1 and then to the college and to the university. You have to finish, you have to graduate actually. You can't stay on one class or grade every time. And next one is about the fruition, which is carrying one's mind to the point of its exhaustion. Is that not called Buddhahood in one life? Connecting it with the 4 kayas or exalted bodies of the Buddha is a great ornament to that.
샘네 아니지 유모다 남보다서 세 아니 샘드네로다 타토가 또 공마이마이나 아니 사제스는 데를 송을 세제 그 산제마여서 샘그 세사스는 샘그 또바 타토가 또바 아니 샘그 지다 유모다 저바데서 마저가 세 타바이마이나 세제 그 산제스는 데를 송을
So the Buddhahood or enlightenment in one life here means is not the Buddha or who is so very far from us. It doesn't talk about the Buddha that is far from us. But Buddha is here talking about only mainly the true nature of our mind. The mind that is being freed from all the afflictive emotions, that is the Buddha. And the understanding the true nature of our mind, that is the Buddha. So here the Buddha, which means our own mind, true nature of our own mind.
저는 걸어와다 명인의 대가 심지다 산지에서야 돼서 이제 란타를 먹고 깨자 말아. 그러나 샤소로 노소로 들리 란타 먹고 깨자 가야 말이지.
For example, when we talk about the world and the beyond this world, like samsara and nirvana, it's not we are talking about something that far from us that you have to go, you have to travel from east to west, or not something like that. Also, in terms of talking about sentient beings and the Buddha, it's not that far, like from east, going to east, travel to east to west, and west to east, not like that.
난 걸어왔어야지. 나는 알아서 지 주탐지 건네로 샘저 주탐지기 준이 샘저 내로 대 마도네 나는 말을 받아 단지 나서 받아 철송 받아 간사 되다 샘지나 그래. 아니 대는 걸어와다 그래. 나는 샘저 내로도 모두 줘 주탐지 그 동반이 돼. 또가 이마이나 대는 명이 있는데 봐. 대는 사지 선들이시 베니티 주탐지 그 내로 당 샘저 내로 샘지 준이 대또 마도 붙여도 되는 걸어와다 있는데 봐 샘지의 상대 들이 송을 다다 넘어서 공부하지다 다다 사람세야 들이린다 사람 그 파과당 수수지역 가르치에 되시는 동이 준이 그때마 또 소나는 파과 강사세 대마도 봐 수수지역 시도 다 상지 다 샘지에서 가르치에는 상지에서도 다 또봐 다 봐도 또 저바만 아세스나 될 상지지 그래 다다들 동의당 생전내로 마도바 출바다 저바다 대리 레사 되는 게 그래서 생지지 드림시해요.
When we talk about the nirvana or the samsara and nirvana, so only the difference in terms of we are talking here is also, in other words, sentient beings and Buddha as well. So samsara is because we are in this world, in this samsara, because of the ignorance, because of the power of ignorance, and because of confusion, and because of all these obscurations. So, until we eliminate all these obscurations, we will be in the samsara. That's what we call the world, the samsara, and we are in here, so we are sentient beings. And then nirvana means once you understand, recognize the true nature of mind, once you dispel all the negative emotions and thoughts, then you become Aryas, you attain nirvana or the enlightenment. So the only thing is that whether you understand or recognize, whether you realize the true nature of mind or not. When you realize the true nature of mind, you are noble beings or Arya beings. When you do not understand or realize the true nature of mind, then you are sentient beings. So that's the difference.
동가 추고 라이사와 농거 되네 두기 소파 잡아도 그거 대서 위험해 봐 뭐니 것이 다 되는 게 교육이 연대 대사 단대는 결국을 위해서.
So here then the four kayas in terms of the four kayas the exalted body of the Buddha. which means the kayas, for example, the emanation body, the Sambhoga kaya, which is the fully enjoyment body. Then we have truth body, and then we have wisdom truth body as well. So the 4 different kayas or exalted bodies of Buddha that we will achieve, which is the fruition of this fruition of the practice. And then after that we have the emptiness, which is the Dharmakaya itself. And then we have the clarity or the clear light, luminosity, which is Sambhogakaya, or the fully enjoyment body. And then the compassion that we will achieve would be the Nirmanakaya, the emanation body. Next one is about the spiritual teacher or guru, saying that one who has scripture, logic, and upadesh or quick instructions, is that not called the guru who holds a lineage? And then the so next one is that called the guru who holds a lineage, which means the lama or the guru who possesses all the realizations, who also possesses the scripture and reasoning as well. If you have that kind of guru or teacher, that is the authentic, the fully qualified teacher. So therefore Milarepa is saying that is that not called the guru who holds the lineage. And the authentic, an authentic teacher or guru should have possessed with the lineage, transmission of lineage, as well as realization and other qualities. For example, if Lama or the teacher or guru has realized the true nature of mind, that is the what we call the authentic teacher. So the guru should have possessed with all this lineage and compassion and realizations. If he or she doesn't have these kind of realizations, then he or she cannot impart or convey or teach others. So the first thing is the teacher should have all these qualities. And not only the realization, but also compassion as well. Therefore, here it says, being connected with compassion is the Guru's great ornament. Then the next one is, faithful ones who have great compassion are those not called students who are suitable vessels or perfect vessels. Connecting them with the devotion is a great ornament to that.
Lama nodin sedu kange go gudisi na, tene lama chula deba demba, tene senjina niji yoba, tene chudang tene la ane ji zumba da muba da demba go gudisi.
So here the perfect or suitable vessels here means the students, the disciples, who should have a specific qualities or features. For example, the faith to Guru and the teacher and the teachings as well. And the disciples of the perfect vessel means one should also have compassion or compassionate mind towards all sentient beings. And also, the suitable vessel should possess the exertion, the perseverance to Dharma.
Then, Laborta Jita, Nyani, Gom, Sajachim, Tendino, Jimayana, Pape, Chudam, Lamala, Muru, Telio Grace.
And particularly if you are a practitioner of Mahamudra, then you should have, specifically should have that kind of fervent devotion and respect and faith in the Guru and the teaching itself. So it is said that if you have great devotion towards Lama and the teachings, then you will have a great realization. If you have a middling devotion, then you will have a middling realization. And you have, and if you have a lesser or small amount of faith or devotion in the Guru and the teaching, then you will have that much of a realization. So the importance of devotion and or faith in Dharma and the teacher, I think probably I have told this story before. You might have heard about this story. I met one Western Western Dharma practitioner. When I was in India, I met a Western Dharma practitioner, a Buddhist Dharma practitioner, and he's very, enthusiastic, very interested in practicing Dharma, and he always, attends all the empowerments that he noticed or that he heard about. So he always attended empowerments, all the empowerments, and then he received all the empowerments, abhishekas. But one time, and I asked him about why you are receiving all these empowerments every time, and I think it's better to practice what you have received. That would be good. And then he said, I want to practice, but I have no that much of devotion and faith. So I want to build up my faith and devotion. So that's why I'm attaining all this empowerment. So that's I think that's, I can say that that's wrong, because that's also in one way that's true. Because in order to build or generate devotion and faith, it's not very easy, right? You have to build and generate or cultivate devotion and faith. It takes time. It's not easy. So I think what he explained me, he told me was quite true as well.
죽dom라고 그래. 날 선탁 따위 쥐바이 냠소 공대 렘바이 쥐변 타는 렘바이 무도 끄지세 바이 레브 삼선도 바이 탐지 제도 또 바이 숨바래.
So we have completed the 8 ornaments now, and the last one is the summary or the conclusion of the text, conclusion of this song of realization, which is one gains resolution about the mind through view. Meditation then takes these and brings it to experience. Through conduct, one brings it to its completion. Its actualization is the 4 exalted bodies of the Buddha. The result is asserted in terms of mind. Realization is seen, it all comes down to one thing.
선탁 따위 쥐바이 인수다. 따와서야 돼. 선배네로 니 때 또 그러지. 때 타치고 되고 따와 그거 또 하고 그러지. 근데 다 냠인데 또딱 건데 냠선인 거 그러지. 그때 냠인데 야게 동야가 교남도 가고 따라데 나오고 지기 교남도서 냠인데 세나. 근데 야 공도다 야게 동거 그러지. 아 몸도 끌지세 봐야지. 몸도 지는 탈도 받대 샘이 꾸지고 다니 때문에 그죠. 근데 다 내가 상계해야 돼. 샘고 상계에 더 보거든요. 근데 샘도 또 소마이나 샘도 내로도 또 봐야는 추탄지 그내로도 또 되는 거지. 샘 상계에 소마이나 추탄지 상계에 그래서 어떻게 되게 숨어돼.
So here the first one, talking about the determination and resolution about the mind. This comes through the view, understanding the view, which is the true nature of our mind. That is what is here talking about the view, the importance of view, understanding the true nature of our mind. Then once you understand the true nature of mind through view, the meditation then takes this and brings it to the experience. So here experience means you have to practice. You have to put the view into practice. So that is the meditation. And then it comes through the conduct, one brings it to its completion. So that means you have to complete the view, and according to the view, you have to practice, you have to engage in meditation. And after that, you have to complete these 2 through the conduct. So therefore, through conduct, one brings it to the end. And after that, then what would happen? What's the result? The result would be the fruition would be the actualization of the 4 kayas, the 4 exalted bodies of the Buddha. And that is the result. So the result is asserted in terms of the mind through understanding the true nature of mind. So all this realization is seen, it all comes down to one thing, which is the true nature of mind.
아니 당가 주다 제벌도 아니지 되레다 강화 냥이 그 주가서 체가 왔어서 체 아들이 그 가와서 못지 다 얘는 다 주탐제 유제 단제 마다 바이마인데 아무지 딱바때 뭐야 말이 지리지 말이 다 다리 고깝다 가와서 못 토대바데 되네 주주 초라 마성서네 다지 리딩 대그 때문에 타바가 상지제 고바 토토바지 안서 참아게 얘네 진짜 매종 먹을 때 매종세야 그 친구 그때 고급스러운 뭐 순한 친구들 얘네들 다 들리려고 이런 거 뭐는 세 그때는 안서 그 배치 때 때문에 다시 예반이
So now we have completed the 8 ornaments of the profound meaning, and as we all have obtained this precious human rebirth, having all the freedoms and advantages, and also we have confronted with, or we have met with the sacred dharma that we can practice, and we all are fortunate enough to met with sacred dharma, sublime dharma, and we all are lucky. But at the same time, we also need to understand is that everything is impermanent. All the compounded phenomena are impermanent. So keeping that in mind, we always try to do best and put your studies or learning or whatever you're hearing or listening to the teachings, put into practice and never waste the time or the time or the auspicious occasions whenever you get chance. And then try to practice and put effort, rely on the perseverance, and try to attain enlightenment in this one body, on this one body and in this one lifetime. This I request to all of you to keep that in mind.
저는 다치가 zambu지 zo고나 첸달레 장 스마키 제와 zo고 그래. 근데 첸다 당나서 두수처럼 좀 말해. 근데 제와 스마스도 배 연을 보래. 배 양천 달레 장 아니 이제 타토 네 다산 타르바 제가 단 산지제 법방 제가 이제 기체 모래. 아니 이제 첸다세도 다 내가 장제. 네 타바도 탐지 첸바세도 이제 띵제 대화 왔다 듣는데 때는 이 알아서 취진이 그 계좌대 이제 좀 말해봐 그때니 뭐 하는 되게 되냐면서 근데 계좌대 뭐 같은 하나만
So, in order to become a good Dharma practitioner, you should think more for the next life, rather than only in this life. Because only in this life we have a very short lifetime. So in the next life is very long. So in order to gain ultimate and permanent or eternal happiness and bliss, you have to also understand that you have to attain enlightenment and liberation. And then through that way you will gain perfect and stable, everlasting happiness. So next we will be reciting dedication from the Milarepa's Song of Realization, and then you, all of you, pray and make dedication for all the beings, sentient beings, through the force, by the force of what you have learned, what you have heard today from this teaching. Page number is 378.
상관도 없어.